Red flags from Savage. Go ahead, love.
Um, yeah, I learned a lot about myself even with my marriage, but I'll take 50%. I'll take 40%. I'll take 40.
Why was
Not
it initially 50?
because it was a reaction for every, it was a reaction to what was going on. But I am taking some accountability. At first, I wasn't. I'll be honest with you. I was not at first. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. But as I reflected, I did because I didn't work or fight like I should have. I became very indifferent. And like my marriage therapist said, indifference is worse than hate. Because with hate, at least you have an emotion. Indifference, there's nothing there. Like you don't have any emotion or anything tied. And I was like, that's a good point. Because I was indifferent. I was like literally shut down. And I didn't do I could have helped or worked it out a little bit more, tried a little bit more. Um, but I didn't. And so again, I realized now where I had my deficiencies and I've, worked on them and still working on them. But I learned a lot. So now I know in my next marriage, I'm going to be a superstar.
What's the deficiency that you already fixed?
Yeah. That in my marriage, the deficiency I fixed definitely was not always having to be right.
Shit.
In my marriage, not to you or these niggas on this podcast. You hear
I
what I
just
said, right? When I first said my marriage to my
I just
man.
don't know how you're gonna be able to flip it on and off.
Easy. I'll flip a lot of stuff off and on.
Just because, like, remember you said even with your friend, you said she refused to be wrong. I was wondering if I was a fly on that wall on that
Wait,
conversation.
wait, 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 wait. Say it.
Mhm.
Wait.
Your
Oh,
friend, remember
oh,
you said
okay. The one with the
if
money.
I was a
Okay.
fly on the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wall, I would bet that neither one of y'all were wrong in that conversation.
No, well, you would lose that bet, Hamp.
But you just said specifically you wouldn't be wrong in your marriage, but outside into these niggas,
No, that's
you
not
gonna
what
be right
no. What I said was I don't always have to be right. Now, if I misspoke,
in your
I
marriage.
thought I honest out there and said, I honestly God that I said I learned the deficiency that I fixed and I've worked on is that I always have to be right, have to have the last word, right? That's what I
Yeah,
thought I said. Maybe I
in
didn't.
your marriage, but then you made a point to say in your marriage.
In
So
my marriage, yeah. Mhm.
outside, and with that friend, what I'm saying is if I'm using deductive reasoning,
Mhm.
then I'm going to deduce that you weren't wrong in that conversation either, because that's a hard thing for you to achieve.
That's not, but that's what I'm saying. You don't even know the dynamics of that conversation or the friendship. I told you a very small snippet of it. And
Mm-hmm.
in that conversation I had with my friend, it was actually their idea not to talk to me anymore to sever the ties. In that conversation with my friend, I told them my stance. I felt a certain way. I said something. I explained, no, this is what I really like. We had a dialogue. I don't want to get into it. We had a whole dialogue. It wasn't me having to be right in that conversation. I expressed how I felt. I expressed where we went wrong, where I went wrong, and how I felt with what they did. It was not a
Mm-hmm.
need to be right in that conversation at all. What the
So
downfall of that conversation was the yelling at me and talking over me and a whole bunch of other name calling. I don't work like that.
so you're saying that you're going to be able to admit to being wrong specifically in the marriage aspect of your life. I find that hard to sustain if you're gonna have to flip it on and off. Shouldn't that become your modus operandi to
No,
become open to being wrong?
no. So with my friends, and again, this pod. I'm about to break the fourth wall and tell the real truth. This podcast is not even me, and so when I talk to my real friends, we have conversations. We have dialogues, and we can have grown woman critical conversations. Hell, I even teach it. So yes, we can do that. If I'm talking on this podcast, it's a totally different dynamic. This is not real life. This is not how it's real operating in real life. And so if I'm wrong, I have no problem saying I apologize, I'm wrong in real life. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. Whether people choose to believe that on this podcast, like the comments or even you, that's on you. I'm surprised that you would believe that. So I thought you knew me better than that. I have no problem saying I'm wrong.
No, you have a problem with it. I'm not saying it's impossible for you, but you have a problem with it for sure.
I don't
You'll
know.
argue down to the cows come home. Can
That's
you
real
get
life.
there? Can you get there? Yeah, I'll say that. But that ain't an easy thing for you,
I
i.e., one of
disagree.
the things that you had to work on.
Yes, you said you asked me the question. What did you work on? And I said
No,
what I
I
worked
said,
on.
see, even right now, right? I'm having a conversation with you. You want to make sure that what you said is what you said, and
Yeah.
it's not though. It's not. But it's okay that it's not, right?
Him. Are
I
you serious
asked
right now?
because I asked what you fixed already.
Right.
Yeah, and you said not always having to be right. And I'm
Correct.
saying we need to assess that because it's still a very hard thing for you to get to sometimes.
On a podcast
No, but
versus
just
real life.
generally because it's hard. If you live like that, how you gonna say it's just so easy in real life, but then we talking on the internet, you like I don't do it at all.
I don't, because one thing on this podcast to be very concise and very quick and very succinct, right? There's a certain type of flow you have to have on this podcast. You got to answer questions. You got to answer questions at different angles coming at you, left to right. You got to go real fast with it. If I'm in when I'm in real life with my friendships or my potential mate, there will be able to slow down and have a real conversation, have a meeting of the minds. Absolutely, that's real life. This podcast is not real life. I don't have 6 people or probably we have on this podcast listening to my conversation, and then a bunch of more people in the comments or on the in the comments saying things. So that's not real life, and so we can have a true dialogue. And again, I learned I don't always have to be right and always have to get my point across. When I was married, I felt I had to do that. I had to stress, no, what I mean, da 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 da. I wouldn't do that in my next relationship or my marriage. I would not do that on this podcast where we're supposed to talk. Yes.
All right, all right, I can't
You can
because
choose to believe it or not.
no,
But
I'm not even saying
again,
that. Just you talking about being succinct. I ain't no. All right, I'm just saying, like you gotta listen. We've been being real all night. We gotta assess if something is actually repaired, and if it can rear its head, right? Because people don't change their mask. So if it can rear its head easily, we need to reassess it.
yeah, my man wouldn't talk to me though, the way he's been up here talk. And so yeah, like
Yes,
it's
he
just
would.
a different
Yes, he
dynamic.
would. Yes,
No,
he would.
no, he wouldn't.
He
Not
would
my man.
talk to you. He would
Not my
talk to
man
you.
like this.
Yeah, he gonna
No.
talk to you how Adrian talks, how I talk, how Chief talks. Yeah, of course he
Maybe
would.
how Chief talks, because does talk a certain way. So maybe how Chief talks, and when Adrian at certain times when Adrian talks, when he's not purposely trying to be opposite, yeah, because Adrian says a lot of great stuff on the podcast. He absolutely does,
Yeah, but they're
and
gonna
Chief
deliver
does
you
too.
information because what I'm saying is you ain't gonna be able to keep that mask on all day long. It's gonna come off. Is my point, and you're gonna have
I
to
don't feel
deal
I
with
have
some
a mask
struggle and
on. Though.
strife.
I don't
What
feel
I'm
I have a
saying is
mask on.
when somebody's a certain way, they're not gonna change, but they got to try to control that portion of them. But sometimes they may lose control of that portion, in which case it's gonna rear its ugly head, and then the man's gonna start talking how he need to talk. That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
you saying his mask is gonna come off?
No, you too. Because you're gonna have a need to be right. You're gonna get an urge. It's gonna start to bubble right here. And you're gonna have to
No,
fight it.
I don't agree with you on that part because will there
That
be
don't even make sense
perfection?
not to
No.
agree. It don't
Okay.
what I'm
Well, I
saying, it
don't.
don't even make sense not to agree because you know that you have to fight urges all the day, every
I
day
don't
to
agree
do
with the
things.
mask part. That's what I don't agree with. Because you're saying a mask as if I'm not being authentic. When you're masking something, you're hiding something. I'm not gonna hide anything from my man, from my partner, from my husband. I'm not gonna hide anything. That's what masks are for, to hide. I'm not gonna do that.
No, I'm not saying that he's is he gonna see this part of you?
He's gonna know all of me.
So he'll know
Really,
that you
he's
have
gonna
a
know all the real, all of me, the real
so he's
person.
gonna know that you have a propensity to want to be right.
Nope.
So it's a mask then.
Nope.
See, it don't even make sense.
Because I already addressed it and I already answered it 5 times already, and I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again. So I'm gonna give you one word answers. I already said it already, very eloquently at that.
I don't know. When I clip this, we'll be able to assess it. Sis.